The coordinator position in college football is one of the most important staff positions that you can think of outside of the head coach. And today we're breaking down a new hire heading into the 2025 season for the Penn State Nittany Lions. New defensive coordinator, Jim Knowles. A big hire for the Nittany Lions, a controversial hire for the Nittany Lions, and coming over from Ohio State in the Big Ten. Brad, this has been – we talk about the previous coordinators over the last few weeks. This one is probably the most intriguing to me from the standpoint of why would he go from his arch rival, Ohio State, in the same – well, there's no divisions anymore, but the same conference over to Penn State. Just came off of a national title run. We know that he was a part of many other defenses over the past several decades. He's had so much experience both in college. Just give me your initial thoughts on why do you think Jim Knowles took this position?
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, when we saw that Penn State was, going to be looking for a new DC after Tom Allen goes to Clemson, this is definitely not the guy that I anticipated. But I will say, James Franklin, A+ hire here. I mean, Jim Knowles,
absolutely.
Looking at the resume, I mean, was, and I'm kind of going more recent history, but was the DC at Duke for, looking at about 8 seasons, Oklahoma State, and then of course Ohio State. So a guy that's, been around the block a little bit. It shocked me. And I don't know that we're ever going to have a definitive answer of why he leaves. I do think he got a little bit of a pay raise. Read some stuff, potentially maybe didn't get along with Ryan Day. I don't want to speculate. We don't know if that's, true. Nate, this is something that at least came to my mind. He was born in Philadelphia, so maybe the chance to go back to his home state there. So a lot of things, but this is an A+ hire from James Franklin. I think he hit the nail on the head here.
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing coming into this year is the salary bump. I mean, he's now the highest paid defensive coordinator in college football history, making just over $3 million a year. Hard to pass up an offer like that. On top of that, though, he inherits a young yet veteran defense at Penn State. We saw the run that Penn State had. Comes up short at the Orange Bowl versus Notre Dame. What kind of run can Jim Knowles get this defense on in the 2025 season?
This is intriguing to me because we saw his defense at Ohio State were very, very good, and he had a lot of talent there. He's going to have good talent at Penn State, but, I will say – excuse me.
You're good.
You're good. He's got to replace a guy in Abdul Carter.
Need some water?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can pause it.
Jim Knowles, obviously, coming over from Ohio State, had a lot of talent there, but making the jump to Penn State, the first thing, Nate, that comes to my mind is there's no Abdul Carter on this defense. We're talking about a guy that's probably going to be a top 5 pick, but, does still bring back a lot of talent. Dennis Sutton at a defensive end, Tony Rojas at linebacker, A.J. Harris. There's still a lot of talent on this Penn State defense. And Jim Knowles, known for being aggressive. I think he's going to have good success. I really, really do. One of the things that really intrigued me was how, and he's known for that 4-2-5 defense, but I know that we saw segments of how he really kind of changed things up. There were times where he put Caleb Downs, for Ohio State this past year in kind of like a hybrid linebacker role. And he's just got such a unique aspect and mindset of bringing defenses, and offenses now, we know this, they're all about getting speed on the field and spreading teams out. And Jim Knowles has just adapted so well. That's the thing that impresses me. And once again, Penn State, things are set up for them to be good. They bring back a lot on offense. This is a home run hire. I think he's going to do a really, really good job there.
Yeah, this is a guy who led an Ohio State defense, like I said, to a national title. And they only allowed 239 yards per game on defense, only 14.9 points per game on defense as well. I mean, it's going to be hard to replace a guy like Abdul Carter. It's going to be hard to replace a guy like Caleb Downs at Ohio State. I think he fits in great with the culture at Penn State, like you mentioned, a hometown guy coming back home to Philadelphia area, knows the lay of the land, knows how to recruit up there in the Northeast. Yeah. To me, I agree. It's an A+ hire. It's going to be intriguing to see what Penn State can do. Now, final question on this. Well, and I know we're going to talk about it later in the offseason too. Is this national championship or bust for Penn State, especially with the staff they have coming into this year with a veteran quarterback?
Right. I mean, I think defensively, I mean, like I said, you're losing Abdul Carter. That production, you're going to have to do it by committee unless Danny Dennis Sutton just really just takes off. I'm not saying he can't, but got to replace Abdul Carter. There's a lot of talent on that Penn State defense. I mean, a lot. I think the defense, I think they're capable of holding teams to, 20 points a game or less. To me, and we're not, don't want to jump too far ahead. To me, it simply comes down to the Penn State offense and Drew Aller. We saw last year with this team, the defense was solid, but the offense got struggling. The offense struggled, and that's always, to an extent, kind of been James Franklin's, Achilles heel. The offense is capable, but in the big games, they struggle. So Jim Knowles and defense not worried about that at all.
Yeah. I think it's going to be not necessarily, okay, how do you replace these guys? It's going to be more on Jim Knowles to say, okay, how do I adjust to the strength of of these defensive players? Yeah. I think if there's anyone that can do it, it's him. I don't think he would have taken this position just for the money. I think he sees a real vision going back home to Penn State, being in that area, knowing how to recruit those guys, and more importantly, knowing how to coach those guys. His ability to adapt into different situations, especially on the defensive side, whether it's man-to-man, whether it's zone, he's going to be able to dial up some really, really good play calls for that Penn State defense. If you're a Penn State fan or just a general college football fan, let us know down in the comments what you think about this hire for the Penn State Nittany Lions. Is Jim Knowles the right guy for this job? And can Penn State get over the hump? Maybe win a Big Ten championship, maybe even take another run to the national title in 2025-2026 season. We'll see you next week. Be sure to subscribe, like this video, and turn on that bell notification so you can stay up to date when we post our latest video. It's time to break the huddle.